Let's talk about a special kind of noun.
Okay.
What kind of things can be nouns?
People, places, and things.
Sure. Also animals, ideas and emotions, and activities and events.
Really? Events make sense, like a concert or an earthquake or something. But activities? I thought those were verbs.
Well, actions are verbs, but activities are nouns.
Can you give me an example?
All right. What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I like reading and camping, pottery, and collecting stamps.
Okay, cool. What are other things you enjoy?
Pizza, movies, my family, and dogs.
Now, what kind of words are these? Pottery, pizza, dogs?
They're nouns.
All of them?
Well, they have to be, right? We use them all the same way.
That's true. But look at this. 3 of your hobbies end with ing.
Wait, I thought only verbs end with ing. Oh, and what if we take the ing away? Read, camp, collect, they're all definitely verbs.
You're half right. The root of these words are verbs.
But
they only stay verbs when you add ing to the end, if you also have to be in front. Without it, the words can be a different part of speech, like nouns.
Huh, I haven't thought of that. I guess we do that with other endings. We can turn a word into a different part of speech.
Yep, and right now we're talking about turning a verb into a noun by adding ing to the end. We call these gerunds.
Okay, I see the verb part, but what makes them nouns?
It all depends on how they're used. How do we use nouns?
Well, they can be subjects, which means they're doing the verb, or they can be objects, which means they're affected by the verb.
Or can complement the verb. Let's take a look at gerunds in all of these roles.
Okay.
Here are some example sentences with some blanks. We can fit any number of nouns into those blanks, but why don't you think of some activities that work?
Sure. I could say a noun like football requires strength and endurance, or I could use a gerund like rock climbing.
Right. Both of those nouns are activities, and both act as a subject. But unlike football, the word rock climbing comes from a verb, so it's a gerund.
And we need to make sure it ends with ing.
Exactly. How about another one?
This kitchen could use some bigger cupboards.
Sure. That's a perfectly fine direct object. What's an activity you could do to the kitchen?
You could clean it.
Okay, so if we wanted to use clean as a noun,
we add ing. This kitchen could use some cleaning.
Cupboards was not an activity, but cleaning is. Either way, they are nouns that act as objects because they are acted upon by the verb.
We could do this same fill-in-the-blank process for nouns in any part of the sentence, right?
Right. We see that while gerunds look like verbs on their own, they act as nouns in the sentence, and that's what's important.
Got it.
Check out this last sentence. So far we've talked about activities, but we can make gerunds out of stative verbs as well.
That makes sense.
Let's go back to rock climbing. Some gerunds, just like some verbs, have a word at the beginning that modifies the base verb.
It's not just any kind of climbing, it's rock climbing.
Yeah, and we can do the same with stamp collecting, wood carving, and more.
I see.
A gerund phrase can also include words later, like objects of the original verb, or prepositional phrases.
Like watching television or singing in the rain.
Great examples. However you would put those words together in a verb phrase, you use the exact same way for a gerund phrase.
Gotcha.
But since gerunds act as nouns, you can modify them with adjectives or specify them with determiners.
Determiners?
Yeah, like articles, possessive words, demonstratives, and quantifiers.
Oh, I see. These are things you can put with any other noun.
Right.
But not with verbs.
No, and that's what makes gerunds special. They have the properties of both verbs and nouns.
But ultimately, it's nouns that they act like.
Yes.
Okay, so if we take a verb and add ing at the end, we can then use that word or its phrase as a noun. And that's what gerunds are?
You got it.
Cool.